Americans are pretty simple. We care about a lot of stuff, but there are two things that are at the top of the list: being safe and being financially secure. We want the economy to be going well. We want to feed our families. We want our kids to feel like they have a fair shot to do better than us. We want to feel safe at home. And that is what Trump has going for him right now. That's why what's going on with Ukraine, the raid on Ambassador Bolton's house, the Epstein files, they may be on the top of Democrats' minds and some in New York and Washington. But that's not what is on the top of Americans' minds now, 2 weeks before Labor Day. Let me give you a different view of the country right now. The border's closed, Trump's fighting crime, and everyone's 401ks are better than they ever been. And to show you the disconnect between Washington elite and the rest of America, Politico, this is from one of their top journalists, is wondering why more people aren't protesting. Michael Schaefer writes, D.C. is built for protests, but after Trump's takeover, they aren't happening. Why Washington residents aren't flooding the streets to protest Trump. Michael may not be able to tell you, but I can. People who live in D.C. generally, not the rich, white elite in the bougie areas, but generally people who live in D.C., love that someone is finally dealing with the city's crime problem. Most people are happy. When people aren't happy, they come out and protest. Nobody's doing that. Most Americans are not hyper-political. They want to feel safe. They want to head into the weekend and go to dinner without getting carjacked. Trump is providing that, and that's our Why It Matters segment tonight. I am not here to tell you whether things are good or bad. I am not here to pass judgment. I'm here to tell you what's happening and why it is happening. President Trump doubled, if not tripled down today on his takeover success in D.C. He even talked about taking it on the road to other cities.
To me, D.C. is very exciting. And a lot of people say, well, where's he going from there? Well, I have calls from politicians begging me to go to Chicago, begging me to go to New York, begging me to go to Los Angeles.
Month of August alone, Chicago has seen 147 shootings. 20 people have been killed, 127 wounded. D.C. hasn't seen a murder in more than a week. So why would Chicago not want that? It is at this point when Democrats start screaming deploying the National Guard isn't the answer. So what is the answer? Is the National Guard going to make the crime problem worse? Of course not. D.C. has secured a whopping 26% decrease in violent crime since this time last year, week over week. So something is working. Trump wore a hat today at his press conference saying Trump was right about everything. It might be true, it might not. It really doesn't matter. If, as the President of the United States, you are right on the economy and right on keeping people safe, the American people will give you an enormous amount of leeway for everything else. The stock market surged today to a record high after the Federal Reserve Chair hinted at potentially cutting the interest rate. In the first hour after Jerome Powell's remarks, the Dow jumped 900 points. Powell talked about the dangers of the lagging economy, mainly citing tariffs and job growth numbers. He hinted the rate cut could come as soon as next month. So we talked earlier this week about how Americans are sick of spending so much of their hard-earned paychecks at the grocery store. It was one of our highest-rated segments that we have ever done. The sticker shock of groceries climbing in cost has people moving their pointed fingers from Joe Biden to Donald Trump. That will become a problem for Donald Trump if prices don't start coming down. Americans are paying record-high prices for ground beef. Chickens are more expensive. The cost of coffee is up 33%. These are dangerous numbers for Donald Trump. Families are stocking up on those exact items for their Labor Day cookouts. What do people talk about at their Labor Day cookout? Either they're going to talk about high prices or they're going to talk about how the streets are safe. Those are the conversations. Here's why Trump gets more leeway. For 4 years, Americans lived with sky-high prices, an out-of-control border, and a crime policy that put criminals first. It was wackadoodle. Trump is providing an antidote to that. He is promising to fix the problem. And Democrats do not get it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.